Hello everyone, my name is Rainey. Welcome to another Hearse Boys segment, and this is week 3 of Rainey's official chronological filler-free Star Wars The Clone Wars watch guide. Just a recap of the last 2 videos. If you haven't seen Phantom Menace, go watch that. If you haven't seen Attack of the Clones, go watch that. Watch part 1 of this guide, watch part 2 of this guide, and then come back here. Okay, that's all the recapping I'm going to do at this point because we're 3 videos in by now, and if you don't know, now you know. We ended the last season on the Boba Fett arc, and before that, there was some Mandalore stuff. So in this season, we're going to hop right back into Mandalore stuff, and as usual, I'm going to leave the guide right here next to me so that you guys have access to it the entire video, and you can follow along with what I'm saying. So right off the bat, we're going to start with Season 3, Episodes 5 and 6, Corruption and the Academy. This is mostly about Duchess Satine and Padme. The second one, mostly about Duchess Satine and Ahsoka. I crossed these off because they're very political. Anything that has to do with Duchess Satine is going to be politically charged, and you already know about Padme. Now, it's not that I have anything against Padme or Satine or Ahsoka. Ahsoka's one of my favorite characters. Padme does well enough, and honestly, Duchess Satine is kind of boring, and she only really exists as a love interest to Obi-Wan. So I know it kind of seems like I'm picking on the girls a little bit, but I didn't put these lovely ladies on the back burner the way that the prequels did. Unfortunately, a lot of these episodes had some really cool moments in them, but the ones that are so heavily steeped in politics just happen to be the ones with characters like Padme and Duchess Satine in them because they are the political figures in the show and in the war, and Padme is the political figure in the prequels. But again, this is my watch guide. This is just based on my taste. The only official document involved is the actual chronological order on StarWars.com that you can find in the description. But the filler stuff, the filler suggestions, and what to skip is completely based on what I think. It's not necessarily because it's a bad or boring episode. It's just that I don't think it's as important as some of the other stuff. Anyway, moving on to Season 3, Episode 7, Assassins. This is with Ahsoka, Padme, and Aurra Sing. Again, totally inconsequential episode. Aurra Sing is a really cool character. She's actually one of my favorite bounty hunters, and she has a very interesting backstory, but none of that's developed this episode because she's the villain in it. It's more so about Ahsoka and Padme and how they deal with Aurra Sing, so I don't know. I don't really recommend this one. It's okay. Season 3, Episode 2, ARC Troopers. So this one involves Grievous. Ventress is back after a while of not being involved all that much. Jedi Master Shaak Ti is in it, who is one of my favorite Jedi, and who has died in some way, shape, or form on screen or in Star Wars media more times than literally anybody else. Clones, Rex, Cody, Echo, Fives, and 99 are in this episode. This episode, I think, is very important because, again, I'm a big fan of the clones, and this show is called The Clone Wars, and the clones are just as important to this show as anybody else, and I think that seeing their development on screen really makes the show what it is. You should remember Fives and 99 from the last 2 guides. This episode is very important for both of those characters, and you will see why when you watch the episode. The same for Echo as well. Season 3, Episode 4, Sphere of Influence. This is mostly about Ahsoka. There's not really much to gain from this episode that you wouldn't gain from one later on down the line within the next 2 seasons. Next is Bane the Baron. By the way, all these names are completely made up. I made these names up. They're not the official names for these arcs. This is just something that I made up so that it was easier to categorize these things. So next is Bane the Baron. Now, if you remember from my last 2 guides, I suggested that you watch the first Cad Bane arc. I don't necessarily suggest that you watch this one if you watched the last one and you didn't really care about Cad Bane. If you did like Cad Bane, then definitely watch this arc because there's way more development and they show off more of all the cool stuff he can do and how resourceful he is as a bounty hunter. So it's really cool. But again, totally skippable. There's a much better arc with Cad Bane in it a lot later. So if you don't want to watch this one, you totally don't have to. Next is Senate Arc 1, and my god. Basically, Padme gets an entire 3-episode arc, so you know what that means. Again, I reiterate, it's nothing personal, okay? I'm not picking on the girls because I'm some kind of sexist. It's just that the prequels wrote her that way, and the Clone Wars stays true to the prequels and just makes them better than what they were before the show. Now, because of this, they have to write Padme true to the original character and script. So she gets stuck with a lot of the political stuff. I'm not into the political stuff, but if you are, you can watch this. If not, totally skippable. It's nothing personal, Padme. You're fantastic, but I don't care about the Senate. And season 7 is right around the corner, and we gotta get these people through this goddamn show. Now, moving on to the first arc that I actually recommend you watch, aside from the standalone episode ARC Troopers earlier, we have the Dark Side arc on Dathomir. The reason I suggest this arc is because I feel like the most important stuff in this season, in this part of the guide, revolves around the Force and revolves around the dark side, and a lot of this stuff happens right around this chunk of episodes right here. So the Dark Side arc on Dathomir is season 3, episodes 12, 13, and 14. This is when you get the intro to some very important characters down the line, the Night Sisters. The following episode, you intro Savage Opress, who has the most on-the-nose name in all of Star Wars since Kit Fisto. Anyway, Savage Opress is a really interesting character, very interesting Darksider, super powerful Sith apprentice. He's a Zabrak, just like Darth Maul, and if you remember Darth Maul from Phantom Menace, then you are in for a treat later. Anyway, watch all 3 of these episodes. They're really important, especially the end of the last one. As Mother Talzin goes dummy, Dooku, Savage, and Ventress have a moment in that episode. It's really cool to watch. I'm a big fan of the Dark Side of the Force. Anytime they get any shine, I definitely recommend that everybody watch it, because the Dark Side of the Force is largely misunderstood and underrepresented a lot of the time. After this, you move on to season 3, episodes 15, 16, and 17, which is what I call the Force arc. This is probably the most important 3 episodes in the entire show. It focuses completely on Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka. No one else. This batch of episodes, this arc, these 3 episodes, are more important than anything else you are going to watch in the entire show. So when you watch these in particular, put your phone down, no distractions, get some snacks, get some water, and really soak it in, because it is very important. It is so well written, so expertly crafted. I love this show so much. If you couldn't already tell. I see, now that I think about it, like, I almost feel bad calling it filler in this season, because, like, to be honest, you could kind of watch all of it anyway, and it's all really good. But again, because we're trying to get you guys through this in a timely fashion, and we're trying to get you guys caught up and updated on this stuff before the release of season 7, there's some stuff that we gotta cut out. In this particular season, there's a lot of quality. That's where it's most notable that a lot of changes happened, and for the better. So anyway, the Citadel arc. The Citadel is this prison planet that was built by the Separatists. It's a really shitty place to be. I don't recommend it. I do, however, recommend season 3, episodes 18, 19, and 20. Now, you get the intro to Jedi Master Evan Peel. He's this really quiet little dude. He's got this gnarly eye scar. He's a really cool Jedi. Clones Rex and Cody, and the intro to my favorite Star Wars character of all time, Tarkin. This is where you get the first canonical, chronological look at the guy who would become Grand Moff Tarkin by the time of A New Hope. Now, because he is such a major player in the Empire later on, I recommend you watch this so that you get a taste of what he is like as a person. Season 3, episode 21 and episode 22, Padawan Lost. The next arc is what I call the Transdoshan arc. If you're familiar with the bounty hunters like Boba Fett, Aurra Sing, you know they're accompanied by this lizard guy named Bossk. Bossk is a Transdoshan. This focuses mostly on Ahsoka and a bunch of younglings, and they run into a bit of trouble with a bunch of Transdoshan bounty hunters. If you want to see the first time there's any real responsibility thrust onto Ahsoka herself, because she is responsible for the lives of these younglings and helping them survive and stuff like that, it's a really cool pair of episodes to watch if you're into Ahsoka like that and you want to see her character develop a little more. And if you want to watch the intro to Chewbacca, then definitely watch these. So that brings guide number 3 to a close. Once again, my name is Rainey. This has been another Hearse Boys segment. Thank you so much for tuning in. Season 7 of the Clone Wars draws ever so close. I am so excited. Thank you guys for watching this guide. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, click the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload. Stay tuned for more Hearse Boys content. Stay tuned for more streams on Twitch and stuff like that. Once again, my name is Rainey. This has been another Hearse Boys segment, and I will see you guys next time.